Hello, I'm Joe Vaughn, and I am the tournament director for the New York State Forensic League tournament that is happening this weekend, Friday through Saturday through Sunday. And so I want to go through a couple of basics in lieu of having a judges meeting, because we're starting on Friday this year, which is new for us because of this is just something that we're doing because of online debate. It just didn't seem feasible to have a meeting altogether because we're going to be rushing to that first round because I know that many of you will be working during the day on Friday and have agreed to this commitment of getting to this first round at 6 p.m. on Friday for those of you who are judging on Friday. And we wanted to make sure you had this information, but at the same point, didn't want to take up your time prior to that round on Friday. So just want to go through a couple of things in this video. So thank you for your attention. And more importantly, thank you for agreeing to judging for your team. It's so important that we have community members and parents and coaches who are willing to engage in this activity, because without it, we could not possibly do it. So thank you for your time and energy to supporting our students. So I want to go through this document that you should have received via email. If you did not receive it via email because you are a late addition to the pool, you should contact the coach of your school who can send you a link to this document, because this is going to be where all the information is focused out of for this weekend. So this is our live doc specifically for LD and PF. There's a separate live doc for speech, but this informational video is only about LD and PF. So first things first, this first page has a bunch of really great links. The first link that you have here is going to be to the front page of Tab Room for this tournament. So if I click on this, right, that is going to bring me to the tabroom.com page for this particular tournament. And on there, we can see the pairings information. So we can go there, and if we wanted to ever look up where the pairings are, we could go to the drop-down menu, and once the pairings are live, you would see the various categories for Lincoln Douglas, Novice, Intermediate, and Varsity, as well as for PF, Novice, Intermediate, and Varsity that you would care about on that drop-down menu. Okay, we'll come back to tabroom.com in a couple of minutes. So this video I'm making now, I'll post a link to that here for those people, which will be kind of a weird recursive thing, but don't worry about that. The Zoom Judge Lounge. So this is the link to the Judge Lounge that we are using for this weekend. So if you have questions during the course of the tournament or concerns, you can always go into the Judge Lounge. Eric D. McKelly from Regis in Manhattan and Lydia Essinger from Syosset on Long Island are going to be your hosts in the Judge Lounge, and we're very happy to have them there to help you with their problems or to direct you to someone who can help you with your issues. If you want to speak directly to the TAB staff, here is the debate helpline that you can email, tabroom.issues@gmail.com, and one of my TAB directors will return your message. Here's where we're going to have information about awards, but more on that later. Okay, so Zoom Lounge is your place to go for information if you need it or troubleshooting your first line of defense. Then the tabrooms.issues@gmail. And then finally, if it's an emergency, that is my number. Please don't call, text only. I won't be picking up the phone. Okay. So most importantly, our schedule. All times are Eastern Daylight Times. This is the tournament schedule for both LD and PF, and we are single flighting all rounds, which is magnificent. There is a possibility we may have to double flight some elim rounds based on the number of judges we have, but we're going to try and avoid that. So here you go. You can see on Friday, we have a couple of different times here. And I'm going to go through this in a minute because this is going to be about how the rounds are going to function. But you can see this last column here are our round begin times, right? So 2 rounds on Friday at 6 and 8, 5 rounds on Saturday. So 4 prelims at 9, 11, 2 and 4, and 1 elim at 6 p.m. And then the balance of our rounds are on Sunday here. Right, so let's talk about what the flow of a round is going to be. You can see this first column is round blasted at. We're going to be sending out notifications vis-a-vis Tab Room at a half hour prior to the scheduled start of the round. And that will tell you if you have a ballot. Now, Here's the thing, depending on where you are, how your tab room account is set up, you may or may not get that notification, right? We always say, don't rely on those notifications to know if you have a ballot. Everyone should assume they have a ballot, because for the vast majority of rounds, we're going to be using most of the judges that we have available, because that is what our need is. It's a very large tournament, and we have very little overages in the terms of number of judges. So at 5:30, you should expect to get a notification from tabroom.com by text or by email. But if you don't, you should still check. So what are you going to do when you get that notification? Or even if you don't get that notification, what are you going to do? Well, what you're going to do is go to tabroom.com. So let me go there now. And you always have to log in. So here's my login, boom, and I am logged into tabroom.com. I know I am logged in because you can see your email address on the login right there. And so, oh my God, look, I have a ballot, because this is where the ballot will be if you have a ballot. It will show you your name, who the kids are. The kids' names will actually appear there. The time it starts, you can see this is Tuesday, 5 p.m., which is weird. That's our test ballot. Here is the link to the campus room where the round will take place. Now I'm going to go and start this round, because that's what we want to do. Let me go back to my schedule. We blast the round at 5:30. You go to check to see if you have a ballot. If you have a ballot, what you do is you immediately click start. I know you're saying start, but Joe, start. I'm not starting the round yet. I'm starting the round at 6. Well, here's the thing. Let's pretend the word start is the word acknowledged for this weekend. And so you clicking start is you acknowledging that you know you have a ballot. And you must do this by minimum of 20 minutes prior to the scheduled start of the round, but you should do it immediately upon receiving that notification. So I'm going to click start and my ballot will open. And when you click start, the tab room gets a notification that you have indeed clicked start, and we know that you have to judge a round. You can see that room link is still there. So that's how you're going to access the campus room where the debate will occur. So that's what we're going to do there. And then 10 minutes prior to the round, all judges and students need to be in the rooms. And what should happen then is every person in the room should turn on their camera to make sure that the video feed works, and everyone should talk one by one so that we can acknowledge that all of our tech is working prior to the scheduled start of the round. Then once every person is present and all the tech works, you can start. Now, starting at about 5:50, one of the members of our tab staff is going to start going around and visiting all the rooms. You don't need to wait for that person in order to start on the debate side. You should start once you know you have everyone and everyone's tech works. If you are having difficulties, you're missing people, the tab staff will be along, or you can use the tabroom.issues@gmail.com email address to let us know that you're missing people. Okay. And in fact, when you go into the campus room, let me go there now. If I go into the campus room, over here on the side, it's not there yet because this is not the real round, but we will have a place where that tab room issues email exists so that you have access to that while you're in here, right? So there we go. Let me close out of this tab room. So you're going to watch the round. You'll notice here on my ballot screen, I have timers for prep time set for 4 minutes for LD. It would be set for 3 minutes for PF. And if you want to use this timer, and you can increase the time and decrease the time depending on the time of the speeches, you can do that. I tend to use my phone to time the speeches myself and have the kids time themselves as well. If you forget the timings of the rounds, it's on the actual ballot. It's not on the test ballot, but we will have those down here for you. Okay. Now let's look at the ballot itself. We have a place down here at the bottom for feedback. Anything that goes in the reason for decision box that you type in will go to both competitors. Anything that goes into the individual tabs will only go to that competitor. Now, I would recommend actually that you don't take notes here during the course of the round, because what happens if something happens and you lose this screen, you lose all your notes, which is terrible. So I always open a Word document and I'll type my notes to the kids during prep time and then copy and paste it in later. So what happens now? So the round is over and you tell the kids thank you during prelims, because we're not doing disclosure or critique during prelims. And then you will fill out your ballot. So what does it mean to fill out the ballot? I need to give points to each child. And so we're doing between 24 and 30 in tenths. So let's say Zach did a great job. We're going to give him 28.9, and Curtis did an okay job, 27.4. So I've got that. Let's say I think that Zach won this round, so I'm going to go and say that the 153, which is Zach, it'll be the kids' names for real when it's not the test. And then he is on the AF. We need to make sure that those correlate, right? That's our nice double check. And then as soon as I know who the winner is, I'm going to put in my points and my winner. I'm going to submit the ballot. When I submit the ballot, I get this confirmation screen. And yes, I voted for the AF, whose name is Zach Siegel, and I gave them this many points, and the loser got this many points. And I say, yes, I confirm it. There you go. Now, if I return home now, what you'll notice is I can edit the feedback on that ballot. So you don't have to write all your comments prior to submitting your ballot. In fact, the second you know who the winner and the loser is and what the points are going to be, submit the ballot. Because as a tab staff, we can't go on to the next round until we have every ballot from the previous round. And another thing as well, we are going to ask that every judge stay in the campus room until you've submitted your points and who's won and who's lost. Right? So once that ballot is submitted, you can leave that campus room, but you must stay in that campus room so that we don't have to hunt people down if you have not submitted your points and your win and loss, right? As I said, you don't have to finish your feedback while sitting in that room. You can do that later at your own time by editing your feedback. So that's the once through on the tabroom.com and what the flow of a round needs to look like. And that's going to be best for the organization of the round and the tournament as a whole. Things are a little bit different in the elimination rounds, where there will be 3 judges, not 1. So make sure that you don't start those rounds until you have 3 judges and all the competitors. 1 judge will be designated by tab as being the chair. What has to happen at the end of the round is once all 3 judges have independently made their decisions, the chair will get an alert that all the ballots are in. The chair needs to tell the children who is advancing by saying, this is a 2-1 for Stuyvesant on the pro, or this is a 3-0 for Hunter on the neg. Whatever it is, the chair must announce the decision. There doesn't need to be a discussion afterwards, but we are announcing decisions in elimination rounds only. Okay, and then you can see the start times on Sunday. So let's say that you go to, it's 5:30, you don't get a text blast, you're like, oh, do I have a round? And you go to tabroom.com and there's no ballot there for you. That means you're on standby that round. Every standby judge should report to the judges' lounge by 10 minutes prior to the round so that if someone doesn't show up or if someone's having technical difficulties, we can efficiently replace everyone. So that means that every judge has an obligation during every round. Either you will be given a ballot or you will be on standby for that ballot. And that is for the best functioning of the tournament. As the tournament goes on for these last 3 elimination rounds, when we need fewer judges, we will probably put out limited pools of people, but we won't know that until Sunday morning, who those people might be. But every judge is obligated for the entire tournament. So if we do that, that's going to be merely a kindness. So other things on this doc that are great information. Here are the topics that are being used. The Lincoln Douglas topic is the United States ought to guarantee universal child care. In public forum, the benefits of the IMF outweigh the harms. Here's the speaker point scale that we're using for the weekend, so feel free to review this. This is going to be on every ballot you access on the bottom right-hand corner, so you don't need to memorize it or anything. Everyone always asks me about timing in rounds. Well, first, because we understand that, with online debate, that people might have technical issues, that if a kid is having technical issues, we can give them about 10 minutes of leeway. So if a kid drops out and is attempting to get back, we can give them about 10 minutes. If a kid is having massive technical difficulties, what you should do as a judge is use that email address in order to email the tab staff to let us know immediately what's going on. If a kid can't resolve those tech issues, sometimes we have to forfeit kids, or kids don't show up, we have to forfeit kids. But as a judge, you never forfeit kids. the only person who can forfeit a kid is the tab staff or are the members of the tab staff, whether that's me or my other tab directors. And we will come into the campus room once we've been alerted to the problem in order to discuss that with you as a judge, and we will alert you to when we are calling a forfeit. People always ask as well, what are the speech times? So I have them here, as well as they are on every ballot for the two divisions. So if you're an LD judge, it's on the bottom right-hand corner of the LD ballot. PF, it's on the bottom right-hand corner as well. Now in PF, we're not doing a flip for speakers or for what side. Signs are assigned, and the pro always speaks first. In elimination rounds, for both LD and PF, we will be doing a flip, and the winner of the flip can choose their side. But the speaking order is always set. And tabroom.com will automatically do that coin flip. There's an automatic coin flip mechanism in Tabroom. So just obligations. Judges are obligated for all rounds. 1 judge in prelims, 3 judges in elims. This is about not announcing the decisions in prelims, announcing the judges in elims. This is that step procedure I talked about receiving the ballot, checking Tabroom, pressing start, getting in the round, doing the tech check. Don't leave until you've submitted and confirmed your ballot, announcing your decisions in elims. This just reviews that process for you. Okay, moving down. If you want some additional resources, a little bit more in depth about Tabroom or about NSTA Campus or online tournaments, here's a host of really great resources from some of our partner leagues. Virtual round procedures. The first statement in bold is just talking about equity and access and the understanding of, remember what we're judging is the kid's performance, meaning the kid's arguments. We're not judging what we see in the background, the quality of their tech, right? It's the quality of their minds, the quality of their arguments, and the quality of their engagement that's important for speech and debate, not what we're seeing in the background. So we're not going to hold that against kids. Right? And I would ask you to look through these issues here that kind of help you out with how to effectively do online balloting or online tournaments, right? So the first bullet here is just saying, don't just vote based on only what's presented in the round, not what you believe on the topic. It's not fair to the kids that they have to debate both you and their opponent. We're going to ask you to flow the round in some description, take notes. Right? It is important that you are tracking the flow of the arguments through the round. Our best practice is that all competitors and judges have their camera on. If there are bandwidth issues, the non-speakers can turn their cameras off if that's going to preserve bandwidth, but the speaker always has to have their camera on. We can't have kids giving speeches when we can't see them. Okay, so that would be a tech issue that would have to be resolved. As we said, if there are tech issues as a judge and an adult, use your best judgment about how to deal with them. If people are missing large swaths of the round because of tech issues, feel free to move backwards in time a little bit. But remember, we only have about 10 minutes per kid to play with in terms of that timing. We're going to encourage kids to time themselves and for you to time them as well, everyone keeping everyone honest. Here are the standard tech troubleshooting tips. If you say, I'm having technical issues, essentially all we're going to do is walk you through this exact list of things, folks. So please be proactive and look here, because when you work with one of us on a tech issue, you're not going to get anything different than this list of things here. Okay. And then a statement about our commitment to diversity and inclusion, that is an important core value of our community and is something that we want to think about. And we are using the NSDA's statement about equity because we believe in its message, and we believe as well in learning, listening, growing, and evolving. And then the last thing here is an awards. So we'll highlight this information a little bit later. So that's basically what we have for this tournament. Like I said, our primary mechanism of information gathering or giving is going to be this document, because we will edit this document as time goes on. We'll make notes of what the changes are up here so you know what's changed, or going to the judge Zoom that will be open starting 5 o'clock on Friday. So thank you so much again for taking the time to watch this video and taking the time to judge for our kids this weekend.